everyone, it's Mike Andes, and today we're doing something we have never done before on the Turnaround Show. We're actually going to take a video call that Zach, our head of operations at the media team, had with a previous turnaround applicant. So about 6 to 7 months ago, we went out to Courtney Lawn and Landscape with Matt, the owner, and did a turnaround show. When we talked to him last time, it was in the middle of winter. We built a website, we made a huge amount of changes in the business, leads went through the roof, but then summer came along, a drought hit, leads started drying up, and so things changed, and it's never a linear path to success. Even after a turnaround show, the 4L framework says that when I unlock one constraint, I grow the business. It just changes as you grow the business. So I think this is a really good episode to be able to watch after watching the main turnaround show. So if you haven't, go watch Matt Courtney's video that we made several months back on the turnaround show, and then watch this one as a recap now, 6 to 7 months later. Let's check in with Matt.
Right after we left, what were some of those like pieces that you had put in place and changed, right after we had our coaching?
Yeah, so I mean, like with the follow-up video right before you guys released the one that went on, I mean, we subbed out all the mowing, sold all the mowing equipment, and then I think it was like, and I actually talked to Mike about it because my biggest customer, we ended up 30-daying out. It's like a $140,000 contract because we couldn't get subs to pick them up because it was too big. Well, we had a sub pick it up and it lasted about a day, and then we were doing it and realized when we was doing it, we was renting equipment. It was making like $90 a profit a day. And that was without me taking a paycheck. So like, this is stupid. So I talked to Mike. We 30-day outed that. It was my first customer. It was my biggest customer. It was about $150,000 a year. So I'm not saying that when that email went out, like my whole heart wasn't shaking. I thought my world was screwed. But we did it. And it's actually been like, as soon as they found someone else to take it over, which was like 2 weeks. Like we didn't even work out the 30-day. They found someone to take it over. And it was like just a huge weight. And looking at the revenue now, like it's 4th of September. And we've actually done more revenue this year than we ever have. And we still got 4 months to do. So, and that's without the biggest customer. So it's been a blessing. It's not been without struggle. It didn't, just the light come on, and life's been grand ever since. And I sent you like the halfway report, which would have been the end of June, which was, basically halfway of the year. And we were killing it. Life was great. Our close rate was like 65%. And I mean, production rates were out the roof. We were closing 5 to 6 jobs a day. And then July and August hit. And actually in June, we had the biggest month we ever had. We did $120,000 in revenue. We followed that up in July with, I think, $103,000 in revenue. And then in August, we did $107,000 in revenue. The problem is we hit a wall in July. So in June, when we hit that 120 or 123,000 revenue, we was 20% net profit. In July, we were 1.5% net profit. And then in August, followed that up with a whopping 6.2% net profit. So hit the wall. Leads have dried up completely. I think in the last 2 weeks, I think I've done 5 estimates. And yeah, it comes down to bottlenecking. I know you guys suggested one of the people here be a branch or operations manager, and that wasn't the guy. I'll tell you that. I don't know if you guys read the Mike Andes AI. I comment on there a lot because that's a lot I can talk to. And I'm just pretty much at my wit's end with him. And so I'm doing ops, sales, admin, and yeah, we're at a wall again. So we're on a downslide. It's got me nervous with the lack of sales, lots of leads, and having to do everything again. It feels like we're back in because in June we had a month and a half of revenue in the bank. I'm like, yeah, we're going. Like, this is everything's great, and now it's like, hope we make payroll again. Like I feel like we're right back where we are, 2 months later. Like if we would have had this call like 2 months ago, I'm like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, and now I'm like, yeah, nothing's changed,
Man.
So
yeah, it's definitely a roller coaster. Just like especially as we're coming in, like there's always that summer slump, and then you have like fall cleanups, I'm sure pick up for you, and then you'll have like that winter slump as well.
Well, I mean, we ended up with you guys, and we ended up subbing all the mowing and the fall cleanups out.
Mhm.
Now we are trying to push fall services, which nobody does around here, or winter services, which no one does around here. So trying to introduce them and why they should do it is a whole other thing. And then we haven't had any good reviews on that. I mean, as far as good feedback on that, like we haven't at all. I got to send a couple quotes out of what I'm going to do here this afternoon when we jump off. Let's go. Well, let me see what the pricing would be, and it makes sense. And I'm telling them, well, cut down your, your spring cleanup. Like I'm pushing it pretty hard, but
Mhm.
and then we're going to focus on uh, Christmas lights, which we've never done. So that's going to be another obstacle to climb. Um, and our lot out here, we are looking to sell Christmas trees, and we signed up to be a wholesale dealer for Christmas ornaments. So we're going to turn the one shop into like ornaments and try to get that, get us through November, December if it doesn't snow. So I mean, we're trying things. But again, I've been, kind of assuming the role of ops sales admin,
Mhm.
and still, with the initial call of the turnaround video dealing with my parents' health. And we just put my mom in a nursing home 3 days ago. So I've had to, for the month of July and August, I was out of the office each month about 14 days dealing with complicated projects, dealing with that. And, which is why our sales are down. Like I know, like I wasn't doing anything I should have been. August 31st, I had 29 days of expenses to enter into Copilot. To you know what I mean, like so
Mhm.
you know what I mean, like I haven't been able to do my job, and that's what's hurting. It's hurting the cash flow. It's hurting everything. So it's frustrating,
Yeah,
but it's just
definitely.
trying to get the pieces into place. So.
Hmm. Yeah, and so you've transitioned fully out of the maintenance side, and the last like few months here have been very project focused, right? Like, what's the team size look like for that? Like, as you're doing these projects?
Uh, when you guys originally left, it was just me and Brandon, and then we brought one of the guys in. So it was Brandon and one guy running all the sales or running all the work, and then I was just doing sales and everything. We've added another 2-man crew. We
Mhm.
split them up. So we've added another crew, and I mean, even though sales suck right now, like they're still both crews are booked out 3 more weeks. But for a while, I mean, we were booked out like 3 months, so
Mhm.
like it's scary.
Yeah.
But I know how it is. Like, and I've been in this industry a long time, and when I wasn't in this industry, I was in sales, and it seems like around here, I don't know if it is the same for you guys, but from like the first week of August till the third week of September, like the world just shuts down. Like people are trying to get their vacations in, kids are going back to school, there's fairs, festivals, and then it like picks up like third week of September because everyone's like, oh, I got to get this done by the end of the year. So I'm confident it'll pick up, but it's just with everything going on, with the business and the finances that have dipped back down. It's got me frustrated dealing with everything on a personal level. It's got me frustrated. I mean, my alarm goes off every morning at 4:30. I'm at the shop at 5:15. If I'm home by 9 o'clock at night, I had a good day. That's 7 days a week.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it's like awesome. This is great. It's what I signed up for, right?
Right.
so,
Man, that's tough,
so
especially with the like, yeah, trying to manage like not only the work stuff, but trying to get your personal life on track and like your parents' health and all that sort of stuff. Like, that's never an easy position to try like navigate through,
yeah.
especially
I
when
mean,
it's
ultimately, like if we could find someone with like my same mentality to run the ops side, um, this place would kick ass. I mean, there's there's no
Mhm.
other like you know what I mean. But it's like if I walk away, you almost got to shut it down.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you looked
and I
around for another ops manager like in the meantime? Because I know obviously then hiring adds a whole nother piece of the puzzle here.
yeah.
But like either an ops manager or a service to take off the admin, like to try to delegate one of those two roles.
Yeah, and I don't know what's the easiest, you know. I mean, turning there's just been, originally it was to do with Brandon to do the ops, and I've caught him, and I got a list. I wrote down like 4 lies that he lied to the customer and me,
Hmm.
and then I was sitting in the middle looking stupid, like it's done, and it wasn't done. I mean, lies like that, and it's like, how do you trust someone? It's supposed to have your back and somewhat kind of sort of be related, and they're lying to you or they're lying to the customer or somebody's lying, and I'm trying to come in the middle and be the good guy and save my reputation. um, we did implement P for P. Last week would have been our first week, so that opened some people's eyes a lot.
Mhm.
I had one of our entry level, he was I think 17 or 18 bucks an hour, he's making 25 now. He's like, wow, this is awesome. I'm like, yeah, like I'm not here to screw you. I'm like, I'm here to help you. Like, so that's definitely improved that. But yeah, I mean, we need to take some responsibility off me because it's too much. Like, and unfortunately, Brandon's a salary employee. We had a rain day today. It's rained for the first time in, like, I don't know, like 3 months here.
Mhm.
It's bad. But I just gave him off because if I bring him in, he's just going to sit here and play on his phone. So
Yeah.
I might as well just have some peace of mind, and that's frustrating. What I mean, because you're supposed to be my guy and do stuff, but you're just going to sit here and sit at the desk and play on your phone. And so I know that's not the guy, but it's finding the guy, and it's just, if I could find them, and if anybody's out there, you can get a
Yeah.
hold of Mike, get my number, like we'll talk. Like,
Mhm.
I would love that. Someone to just come in with that mentality that I didn't have to worry about it, and yeah, that I think that's the biggest thing right now is just, you know,
Yeah, trying to delegate some of that work. Well, we talked to a business owner down in Texas recently. And then this has been a talking point that Mike had at a Seven Figures Club, where we brought in all the owners that were doing over 700 or like 7 figures in revenue, as well as like multi-location owners. And it
mhm,
was like breaking down, how to delegate and where to delegate first. And
mhm.
admin is like the first on the chopping block as far as like what's the easiest thing to hand off or like the lowest uh value of your time, right? Because like admin, you could get that replaced for somebody doing it like $20, $25 an hour, like really,
Mhm.
really well. Where like your time as like the salesperson, you might be generating like, closing deals that are in like the tens of thousands, right? So
Mhm.
like working you up into that position where that's where you're working exclusively could be a benefit. And like, yeah, the lowest hanging fruit is admin, like just get somebody to respond to your customers, schedule your jobs, you know. Um, so definitely I can send you some resources as far as like what we had sent over to Efren as well.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Because yeah, I don't know if you saw that video, but like we
I
talked to
did.
him and initially he was like he'd been doing the same thing like 7 years, just grinding every single day, 7 days a week. And he had taken this business over from his dad, who had been doing the same thing for 30 years. And he's like, I can't do this. This is crazy.
It
Um,
sucks.
it sucks. Yeah. And he was able to get that off his plate. And he was like a completely different person in the follow-up call. He was like, I just have so much time. I've been getting back on irrigation jobs just because I have time to do them and build out that whole sector. And like, he's like, this has just been like the biggest breath of fresh air like I've ever had. Um,
Mhm.
so, but like first it was scary for him too, right? So he had to do a time audit to figure out like what are all the things that he's doing in a day, break it down by like it was every 15 minutes. Mike gave him a sheet and it's like take a colored pencil out of your pocket and like highlight like, okay, this 15 minutes I was doing admin, this 15 minutes I was doing sales, this 15 minutes I was in the office, I was out in the shop. And it's the worst week of your entire life because it's just every 15 minutes you're interrupted. But then it gave him a clear understanding of like what tasks are getting done, the switching costs throughout the entire day. So I can send that stuff over to you too, so you have that reference, and maybe you'll get some good
Yeah,
ideas from that.
I guess the thing with me with admin that scares me because people have brought that up. Um, because I've had some shady ex-wives. Don't get me wrong, but um, they were getting my mail and then they were cashing the checks. So like I worry, like when I think admin, I'm thinking money. So I'm not going to know what's there, what's going on. Is someone, cashing checks saying the customer didn't bill or didn't pay? Now I'm looking like an idiot calling the customer. Like those are things that there's some trust issues.
Totally. But you guys are in Copilot now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the majority of your money, are you doing through credit cards on file, or are you still receiving checks?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So potentially just moving over to credit cards on file, because then they can't do anything. Like, the customers have to pay you, and then you'll get your money right away.
A lot of our, and I'll be honest, a lot of ours fight us because through Copilot we go through Stripe and the 4%. And it's actually got me to the point where now Copilot holds 25% until the end of October, which is killing me because there's I think $20,000 sitting in a reserve in Copilot, or not in, but in Stripe. Because some customers are like, well, I paid, but it was like X amount of dollars, because we do a lot of big projects. So 4% on $20,000 payments is a lot of money. So then they want their money back, and I was refunding it. Well, I became high risk to Stripe because I was refunding all this money. But basically what I was doing was giving it back to the customer, and they'd write me a check. So now Stripe thinks I'm high risk, so they hold 25%. And I sit there and go, oh, there's nothing in the bank, but there's 10,000 in Stripe that I can get in the end of October. Mm-hmm. And it's just frustrating. So I encourage people not to do credit cards because I get it. And I don't know how to overcome that.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I would definitely look at how you can get rid of that status, but additionally, the way that a lot of our clients do is they just bake that 4% into the price. So they're not pulling out as a separate line item that the customer is seeing there's a credit card fee on there. They're just raising their prices by 4%, and then that's just the price, Okay. So that's a potential way to do it.
So you can go to Stripe and adjust it to don't charge the customer and then just bake it into the price on Copilot.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. So okay,
yeah, so that could be a way to do it, just because when you're looking at ticket prices that are that big, the customer is going to go down to each line item and be like, well, can we get this taken off? Can we get this adjusted? Can we bring this down? So it's just one less thing for them to worry about, and it's just can clean up your process, right? But even with checks, are you doing 50% down for these
always,
yeah.
Projects were always 50% down.
Yeah.
So
that's great. I want to say when we talked to Good Hand Roofing, they're a roofing company out in, I forget exactly where, but yeah, we talked to them about, they were doing 30% down, and Mike, I want to say, even told them to do up to 70% down. Okay. And now in Copilot too, you have the option in there to pay in full. So that might help your cash flow as well. Just giving them the option. We've seen that 25% of people will just pay it in full right out the gate, which can obviously help your cash flow as well.
What we do on big project, we just did an $80,000 project, and we did 50% down at signing. Then we did 25% the day we showed up, and then 25% at the end. You know what I mean? So
nice.
Before we actually did anything, we had 75%.
Oh, that's so smart. That's
great. But on a $2,000 job, you give me $1,000, we're going to be there a day. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say, give me 500 before we put a shovel in the ground, but
yeah, no, that's a great
usually
way to
those multi-day jobs, we'll get 50 up front, 25 to start, and then 25 at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because really the 25 at the end is your profit and your labor, so you have at least your material and everything covered at the beginning, before you drop a loader or drop anything. So
yeah,
but I mean, being with Copilot has helped a lot, because I try to use QuickBooks, and I use Brad as my accountant guy. And he wants me to be more QuickBooks, and I'm like, I suck at it. I'll just use Copilot. But with Copilot, then I can see it. Really, I mean, the couple months there that I really wasn't in the office, I wasn't, but I was seeing it every day. I look at our rental equipment, and this year on rental equipment we spent $47,000. And I'm like, do we just buy something? But then I'm like, then I got to maintain it. I got to insure it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it might sit 3 months in the winter. Like, you know, it's like a hard thing, but at least lets me see like last month, I think our rental cost was $15,000. And that,
Yeah.
you know, we could have some nice equipment for $15,000, you know,
Hmm.
instead we have nothing sitting here. But,
Yeah.
you know, so, but it gives us something to look forward in the future. It's just getting through these next couple months. And,
Hmm.
um, you know, obviously where we're at, you know, last year when you guys were here, we had a great snow year. This year, we might not have zero. I don't know. You know, I mean, you're just trying to guess that. And I didn't want to be in the, you know, especially in June when I sent that letter and we had a month worth of revenue. I was like, all right, we don't have to, you know, you know, by the time we get to winter, we're going to have 3 months of revenue. We're going to be great. And, you know,
Hmm.
here we are 3 months for winter. I'm like, there's nothing there, you know, so
Yeah.
it scares me. So now we're back to depend on snow. And,
Hmm.
you know, I don't know if the winter services, their Christmas lights are going to fly because it's, especially the winter service, it's something that, as far as I know, no one around here offers. You
Yeah.
know, so I mean, we're trying to go with the approach that we're the only one that offers it, and hopefully it catches. But you know, looking at our maintenance customers, because I mean, really, we sub out the mowing, we sub out the fertilizer, we subbed out over half the mulching just because we were so busy.
Hmm.
So really, I mean, we've made one or two visits. So like, it's really, you know, I mean, and we're making decent money on the subs. Don't get me wrong, but um, it's like we only have probably 5 to 7 customers I think that would be interested in the winter services, which
Yeah. And if you guys aren't
you
doing
know, I mean,
mowing too, that's like usually the carryover for winter services is that like it's your mowing price just continued through the winter. But if you guys aren't
yeah,
doing maintenance work, I can see how that'd be challenging. Like, are you trying to upsell the ones that you are currently subcontracting into winter services? Is that that?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so you know, and I figure it's going to be, you know, basically your mowing cost just divided. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to, you know, get it out, but to get people that's never had that because it's not a
Yep.
service around here. But
Hmm.
then what I'm trying to roll in and maybe I just need to go to Mike AI and say, hey, type me out how it'll save
Hmm.
them, you know, with because most of the contracts are up this year, um, and you know, just type me up how it can save you on the spring cleanup because
Yeah,
it will.
exactly.
Because you know, really, by the time March or April rolls around, by the time if we're doing everything every other week, basically when we show up, all we have to do is edge and mulch. So your spring cleanup cost is going to take out all the pruning, all the cleanup BS, all that. So they're not really making more. It's just giving us a little bit, giving the guys something to do in the winter.
Hmm.
It's just how do you approach that and attack it to somebody that's never done it. You know,
Yep.
it's a whole different ball game. So we're trying to figure that out and trying to figure it out sooner than later. You know,
Hmm.
so we know because we're what first week of September. Realistically, we got 2 months to figure this out and get stuff in our contract. So you know, just trying to figure all that out. And we've never done the Christmas lights. We've never done the selling Christmas trees. So it's all, you know, me trying to figure this out. And the last thing I want to do is go out and make sure that somebody does their job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And squeeze it all in.
Yeah,
So
I you definitely have the exact right approach for selling the winter services. Have you seen the sheet that Augusta has made for selling it? Like what that Augusta uses? You could rip that
I
off.
don't think I've never seen that.
It's
No.
cool. I'll send it over to you. So essentially,
Yeah,
it
please do.
shows two comparisons, and it's like, here's what you would normally get, and it's like two cleanups in the price. And it's like, and
Mm-hmm.
here's what you get like with winter services, and it's like da 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 da, da, and then it says a price, and it's obviously cheaper. And then it has like
Cool.
a little bit more verbiage, but what owners will do with inside of Augusta is they will like have a Zoom, like Loom, you know, Loom, like how you can record your
Mm-hmm.
screen with it. So they'll do like a
Yeah.
Loom call and they'll have the property up on Google Maps, like Street
Mm-hmm.
View, and they'll talk about their property and they'll just go through all of their customers, right? Because like you said, like for the first year, honestly, for the first like 2 or 3 years, you are like teaching the customer what this is, you know, because no
Yeah.
one knows what it is. Like just no one is used to this. So what they'll
Right.
do is they'll record the video and they'll be like, "Hey, Miss Jones, like I'm just looking at your property here at 4018 Oak Drive, and I just want to let you know about our winter services." And then they'll like drag over the
Mhm.
comparison sheet, and they're like, "You can see here, like over the last like few years, like we've charged you like $1,200 for like spring and fall cleanups." But this year we're offering winter services, so it's just a continued maintenance where we're going to visit your property 4 times or whatever over the winter season,
Mhm.
and that actually comes out to be like $800. It's just your mowing price continued throughout that season, and once it gets back to spring, we just pick up your mowing. That way, your property looks good year round. It looks great for the
Mhm.
holidays, and it actually saves you money over the course of the year. So if that's something you want to do, just click the link below and get signed up. So they'll record a video that's just like that, essentially, and just send
Mhm.
it to each one of their customers.
Mhm.
Because we realized that just like that little pitch doesn't take too long to do. And it's like, because it's a one-on-one like video, they see their property, they see the savings, like the difference
Mhm.
between those two prices, it's converted really well. Even in
Yeah.
markets where it's like there's snow or they're just not used to the service, lower income areas, like all of it is like converted way better doing that. Obviously, it takes more
Mhm.
time, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if that's like what you're looking, you're like, I got the time, it's slow right now, I need to do something. Like I would recommend it. I can send you that sheet.
Yeah. Send me that, and if you got something for like proposing the Christmas lights and all that,
Cool.
that'd be awesome too. Because like I said, it's new. I mean, I know there's people around here that do that, but there's actually a local like lighting company, and
hmm
they pretty much took over the market. And they're not cheap by any means, but like
Yeah.
I don't even know how to price it, go about it,
Did
all
you
that stuff.
see the that free course that we have on Mike's Teachable, or like it's just on his website where it's the what's it called? The off season. It's like the book that we put out, and it's like a whole course that shows like all the different 5 cures. Have
I
you
have
seen
not
that?
seen that.
Okay,
No, I
maybe
haven't
check
seen
that out because that shows you too. Like essentially there's like the 5 cures for the off season that he did, and it's like, shut down is just like one of them where it's like literally just like the team
I've
is
heard
laid
him
off for the
talk
season.
about. Yeah, now that you said the
Exactly.
shutdown, yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
he has it all in like a completely free course. And it comes with
Mhm.
like a workbook that we designed. It's from Summit. It's really good material. But Christmas
Mhm.
lights are like a new service, like selling Christmas trees and stuff like that is in there. It's kind of last ditch effort, like or it's the last piece of the pie. Like there's the 4 other cures are like
Mhm.
more effective, lower cost, lower risk to get started with, and that fifth
Right.
cure, which is like start a new business, is a good option, but it's usually the last option. So maybe even getting into that, I'll send that over as like a resource
Yeah,
as
send
well,
that
and you can
over,
review
please.
it just to
Yeah.
see, because obviously, like like just the startup cost of like growth and new things, just like will suck all your cash away anyway, right? So if you're buying a bunch of Christmas lights and stuff, like
And
that's a
then
big
I think what
investment.
we're doing with the maintenance, just because we're not relying on it as much, um, and most of our maintenance contracts were on 2-year deals, and they're up at the end of December, I think. We're just adding 10%, and whatever sticks sticks.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
if they say we're too high, well, let's fine, go to the next guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, I mean we're making money off the subs for Lizen and all that, but that's just an extra expense that we have. Like if we don't have them, we don't have that expense. So we're just adding 10%, and um, if they sign, they sign. If they don't, we got
Yeah.
less sub costs. I mean, that's just kind of how my mind is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
You know,
it's not
one
something we rely
crazy
on.
strategy that I saw was we did this with Connor over in North Carolina, and then I think like Will and Larissa with Military Cuts in Texas just did this as well. They baked in a 20% increase on their prices for the next year.
Mhm.
But they reached out to their current customers and their current contracts and were like, hey, if you want to pay in full for this year, we can get you in at this like your current rate. But
Mhm.
just know going forward, like this is your new price.
Okay.
Because then it's like you get to raise the prices on them, or you get to advance a lot of that money into your slow season. You get pull a portion of that money that would
Oh,
be like
that'd be
throughout the
awesome.
year into the slow season to like kind of balance that out a little bit. So that could be an approach too that you might want to consider. I thought it was pretty interesting that they were doing that.
No, I like that because like when I looked, I said like June, July, and August they were all $100,000 months,
Mhm.
which is good. Like right, we should be a $1.2 million company, but instead we're like a 800,000. Because I look at January and February, we're 30,000
Yep.
a month. You know what I mean? So that's a big.
Yeah, it's a big
We got to.
swing, and it's hard to like.
You know what I mean?
The whole idea is to level those curves out so it's like more stable throughout the entire
Yeah,
year. So that's
yeah,
why that strategy can be pretty helpful. And then also you're the good guy in that situation when you're reaching out to the
yeah.
customers. You're like, hey, like you've been with us for a long time. We want to help you out. Like if you want to pay in full, we'll like honor your current pricing, you know. So
Mhm.
could be an interesting approach. So
Yeah, that'd be awesome, actually.
yeah.
I'd like to get some $20,000 contracts paid in January, But
hmm
and what was the success rate with that? Like, because a lot of our maintenance is commercial,
Yep.
so they're probably not gonna do it. Would
Mhm.
be my thinking, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, totally. I don't know like the exact numbers behind it. I know, oh, man, I wish I had them, but I know it was very successful. And then like there was a handful of customers that just were like stayed on because it wasn't like the option to go find another contractor kind of isn't on the front of mind when you present them two options like that. It's like, hey, here's
Mhm.
option A, keep paying what you're paying, and just like pay it in advance, like take care of the year, right? And then the other option is to pay your higher rate, you know? And that like you're kind of taking that third option of like going somewhere else kind of off the table. I mean, like I'm sure
Mhm.
there was customers that would drop anyway, but to your point, like raising them 10% and then just seeing who drops, like you're
Mhm.
going to have people fall off anyway because that option is still on the table of like, if you don't like this, go find someone else, you know?
Right. No, I like your guys' approach. Do you have like dialogue or something that you guys could send?
I don't think I have anything on that, but like I would just reach out to the Mike AI, like Delphi, and you can chat about it and try to like just dial something in. But the main verbiage was essentially just like, yeah, pricing is going up, or like your new price of the season is this. Like I wouldn't say the percentage or anything. I would just be like, here's your new quote for the next year because you're a longstanding customer. If you want to pay in full, this will honor your current price, and then you just compare the monthly prices there. So it's like currently they're paying whatever a month, and this would be their new month, right?
No,
So
I like that. I
that'd be
like that
cool.
actually.
Yeah. So an interesting approach. I know like a handful of locations have done it and they were like obsessed with it essentially, like 'cause it was really helpful. I know when Connor did it, he was like he has a larger admin staff. He had like three people in admin. So he went through his entire contact list and did it like account by account to try to get
Mhm.
like very precise um, you know, like
Mhm.
targeted customers. But like in your
Right.
instance, right, where you're handling everything, it might be worth it just to hit those subcontractor maintenance accounts and just be like, here's your here's each one of your like pricing, right?
And if
And
our
just do it across the
contracts
board.
in December, is this something I should be sending out like October?
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah, I would probably
You
send
know
it
what I
out to
mean?
like
That
so
way,
that
I'm
they
just
can
say,
renew, right?
pay in full by January 31st or something.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Something like that.
exactly.
Okay.
Something like that. That's a great idea where it's like when they get their new budgets, like, because when they're normally like they'll have the funds or have the allotted um like allowance to spend in these sorts of situations. So um yeah, I would push for like, yeah, here's your offer, pay by this date to get these
Keep your
savings.
current.
And you can even
Yeah.
say like it's this much in savings. Like you will save like X amount, you know?
Hmm.
Um so it could be, yeah,
Okay.
could be very interesting.
I
Could
like
be a good
this.
approach. Hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. So lots to think about as far as that goes.
Yeah. Lots going on. It's
Yeah,
always,
man.
it's never
I know
dull
it's always
moment
it's
here.
always like a challenge though. It's like it's such a like a game that you have to play of like how do I stay busy? How do I educate the customers? Like what strategies can we actually implement to try to like smooth things out and keep things steady and rolling smooth? So but yeah, I would definitely look at like, admin services, there's a lot of good ones that you can just like hire out and they're used to working in your situations, and you don't have to give them everything, like you could start by getting like a call service or getting someone to do your bookkeeping. Like you have Brad doing your bookkeeping, right? So that's good. And you can like
Well,
drip
the
it
problem
out.
is like our phone number is my cell phone, which I know
Yeah.
Mike hates.
Yeah. But you could do forwarding too, you know.
Okay.
So like with your phone number, you could have it like forward over to a different phone number at first and then get transferred over to you if they actually need to talk to you, right?
Because I get like a shit ton of spam calls, like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you're qualified for 4 million."
Of
Like,
course.
sweet, send that over. Send that over. We'll talk about the details in the morning,
hmm
and money never shows up. Like, So,
Yeah.
but I get a lot of those, and that's why like it's hard to answer the phone because I don't know because now they'll spam, they'll come on like a local number,
hmm
and you're like,
Yeah. I got to check. So
a little
that
bit
would
of
be
a
the
voice
very
note.
first things I would get like email and phone calls off of your phone. Like you
Okay.
shouldn't, yeah, I would say like you shouldn't be doing that. You could hire that like very cheaply. And then that would give you the time to focus on operations, right? Like whether you need to make some um, like structural changes, like finding new team members or promoting people. I mean, like firing sets the standards. So like whatever changes you would need to make there, but at least you'd have the time to do that because the customers are getting taken care of.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then as you get more comfortable and you're like, wow, well, this is great. Then you can look at other things like using, home service CPA to like manage the books or getting a more qualified like virtual
Yeah.
assistant to actually handle like admin and like collecting money and stuff. But the nice thing about somebody that's working that you have no relationship to is like that's their job. Like there's a lot of professional services. So a lot of the trust things of like hiring people from your past and like family members and people like that. Like it's their professional, trusted, vetted services. So hopefully, even though it's scary because of the history, I think
Right.
that you could find a lot of good talent out there to help you out with that.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a terrifying thing to hand off though. Like every
It
owner we
is.
talk to, it's like delete your email from your phone. Take the app off your phone. Like just stop answering the calls. So I think you could do it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary.
It's terrifying. I know. And then you're
Phone
like,
would never ring if
well, Betsy only
it was
wants to
just
talk
my
to
friends,
me and
no
I
one
know
would
her
call.
thing. Yeah. So
So no, I appreciate it. Yeah, and like I said, you guys have been a godsend. Like I said, I'm on a downward spiral personally, just because the stress of the business, and you know, even though I know my mom's better off in the home watching my dad. They just celebrated their 59 wedding anniversary, so they've been together 60 years. So having him come home and you know what I mean. So it's a lot to take in every day, and then still deal with the business and try to figure it out and really having a backup plan. I'll be honest, you guys are the backup plan. I talk to Mike AI more than I talk about personal problems. They probably like, well, this guy's crazy.
yeah.
So, but that's what I got, So
Mhm.
I don't burden other people. I'm like, if I'm talking to the computer, it's probably it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, definitely like I just want to see you be able to like breathe a little bit, but in your personal life, in business. I would I would I would say that like even though it can feel like you're on a downward trajectory,
Mhm.
it's really and you know this just from being in business so long, like there's just ebbs and flows, right? Of
Yeah.
like busy and stress and like it's that 4L framework, right? It's just like when something
Uh,
else breaks, then there's like it's a chain reaction. So you always gotta go back and fix this thing and then fix this problem and then fix this problem. And that's just like how growth is all the time. Especially the
right.
growth that you've experienced over the last year, like having those $100,000 months, like that's huge growth, and that just
Oh yeah,
sucks cash,
yeah.
sucks your time, and without the systems and procedures in place, it's
Mhm.
it's uh it's only a bigger problem that you're fixing.
Mhm.
I'm sure you're
Yeah.
feeling that.
Yeah, I'm slowly getting systems in place. The biggest thing was like tools. It's crazy. Like I tell people, I was literally spending like $500 to $800 a month on hand tools. Like they would just come up missing shovels,
Mhm.
rakes, blah blah blah, blowers, So what I ended up doing is when we went to two crew, and I just did this like a month ago because they would all blame. Well, they took it, and and I'm like, screw it. So I went and bought like another $500 worth of tools, made sure everybody had two shovels, two rakes, two spades, two wheelbarrows, blower, and then I painted them. So this is yours. Every day it's got to come back. And then anything they didn't use, I went and bought a $500 dog cage and put it in my shop. Like, like your laser level, your partner saw, stuff that don't go out every day or it's not assigned to a crew, and locked it up. And they have to sign it out, and I'm the only one that's got a key. And I'm like, hey, if tools break, that's fine. Bring them to me. I'll replace them. But if they come up missing, I'm going to do an audit once a week. It might be both crews. It might be one crew. I don't know. We'll figure that out as we go. All of a sudden, all the tools are there every day.
Yeah.
Because we got it really started because two backpack blowers, which are $800 a piece, they got stolen out of the trailer. Well, we have a woods where we dump everything, and it got muddy in the spring, so we had a bunch of rain, and we just dump in the road because it's not a gravel road, it's just a dirt road. Well, then this summer when it dried out, we took a loader. We found the blowers after we ran over them with a skid loader.
Oh,
I'm like, well, there's $1,600,
Mm-hmm.
Like, so now that, it comes out of their pay and it's tied to pay for performance, and we do yellow slips and deduct, all of a sudden, like, stuff matters.
If you have a lawn care business and you've considered joining Augusta Lawn Care and converting it into one of the franchise locations, go check out AugustaLawnCareServices.com/franchise, where you can see all the numbers and what the performance is of all of our locations.
Yeah. Like, So
that's cool, dude.
It's little things, but that was like our little step of like, I'm done dealing with this. And, I say, hey, if I have to go do anything, like if there's a problem, by all means, call me. But if you leave a shovel on a job and the customer calls and I have to go, my time's $100 an hour, and that's coming out of your bonus. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, they're doing double takes, triple takes to make sure everything comes back. And I'm like, okay, so we know we're on the same page.
Yeah, that's great though. That's like those are the, like when we look at like a business, there's like, the labor role that needs to get completed, like the doing of the work. There's the manager role of like making sure the work is done efficiently, making sure that all the pieces are in place. And then there's like the architect role of like making sure that the business is heading in a direction that is like profitable and sustainable, and like building out the business itself. Mm-hmm. Right. And like moving you to having more time in like manager and even more time in architect, it will just be like so beneficial. Cause then you come up with that, like that $1,000 fix to a $1,600 problem. And I'm sure like the money's one thing, but I bet the relief of not having to go to Lowe's every single day is like another one.
Well, and it's just like, but the sad part is like Brandon, who you guys met, was supposed to be the leader. Well, the first day I implemented the tools, they got to be put back. He comes in and he goes, do I really got to put my tools back? I mean, I need them all tomorrow. I said, did the other crew put theirs back? And he goes, well, yeah, they're all hanging up. I said, they need them tomorrow too, so why don't you get your ass out there and unload them? But if that's your leader, that should be the guy going, this is a new rule. But instead, well, do I have to do it? And that's where I'm like, that's where it kind of clicked, this ain't the guy. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're going to fight me on this, because I let you get away with it, the next day, they're not doing it. And we're right back where we are. You know what I mean? So it's frustrating.
No, yeah, exactly. Like, you need good leadership. But it's very true. You need good leadership. Like, the guys are only going to do what the leader of the organization is doing. So with holding up that standard is important. Right. Whether it's Brandon or someone else, like getting that figured out will be really, really good. That'll give you a lot of breathing room as well.
Well, his crew got docked $300 for an issue on a yellow slip last week. You should have seen his second guy's eyes when I went over the yellow slip, and all of a sudden he didn't want to work with him no more. He wants to go with the other crew. But I'm like, hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The hard thing is though, that like, if you have someone toxic in your culture like that, or a low performer or something, that's exactly the problem. Is like the high performers or the quality teammates that you have, they don't want to work with them. So that can be really challenging.
Even with 2 weeks of P4P, you're like, because I can pull it up and go, yeah. It's not just my thought; it's my thought on paper. And I'm like, I can't hide it. It goes from Copilot to P4P. So whatever you do is there. Your only deduction is when you screw up and I get called. Then I had to do one today because, it was from a couple of days ago. But the customer call goes, "Hey, you're replacing this azalea bush." And I'm like, "What azalea bush?" "Well, your guys broke it off, and they said that you would be back to fix it." I'm like, well, I didn't even know about it. But so they're getting the $50 azalea bush and an hour of my time taken off their pay. They don't know because they weren't here today, but tomorrow they're going to know, hey, $75 a piece. So maybe you should have spoke up. Where in the past that would have just been coming out of my pocket. You know what I mean? So there's definitely benefits of, doing that stuff right. So
that's cool.
And it's all part of the systems that Mike's talk about, but and it's not going to cost me a dime. So we'll go ahead and do it. I don't care. I mean, fixing it's the right thing to do if we mess it up, but instead of Matt paying his time and that you are, and we're not taking it out of your pay, we're taking it out of your bonus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe next time you'll be a little more cautious or speak up, So we'll see. I think it's all good. We're headed there. It's just,
that sounds like it was a really good step getting involved in P4P and getting that rolled out, kind of like opening up the books, showing them like the cost of things, the cost of not just like items, but time. And I bet it's changed their perspective, got them talking to customers.
Like I said, the new guy that's like a 17, 18 buck an hour employee. Well, I was sitting here today because it was a rain day. And I'm like, here, just so you know, you're making $24 an hour. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah.
That's cool.
I said, all you do is do your job. So that's what it's about. He's like, all right, that's awesome. I say, when we need a new guy, you know anybody? Well, I'll find someone, because now he's going to tell me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. That's what's so nice. It's such a good retention tool too, or like even like just tool to be able to find employees. Cause like, I'm sure the going rate in the area is like 17 to 18. So to be able to be like, yeah, you can come work here. You'll be self-managed. You won't have a manager breathing down your neck all day, and you'll make $24 an hour. Like, that sounds pretty good to a lot of employees.
Oh yeah. So it's exciting to see what it holds. It's just trying to get through this law. I just got to get my head right. You know what I mean? And it's hard when you're doing everything. It's
exactly.
Your alarm goes off. You're like, oh shit, what's going to happen today?
But I think it's really, it's cool that you're like jumping on and doing stuff like this, or even having this out there, because like a lot of people I'm sure are in your same shoes, like just going through like a lot of personal stuff, a lot of business stuff, and it's just like it can be so overwhelming. It can be hard to like get up and work and do anything.
Oh, trust me, I had a lot of flack after the initial video come out. I think I emailed you like, get it off, because there's people actually emailing my customers like, oh, your landscaper's going out of business, he's a loot. Like, but it was funny, it kind of backfired on them because the one, like, we did the landscape on and they did the snow. Well, they sent the video like, your landscaper's a loser, he's going out of business. Well, like, she contacted me because I had a good relationship. I'm like, no, like, we're just making a adjustment. She was like, I respect that as a business person. She goes, you want to bid the snow? So we ended up getting their snow contract.
No way. That's awesome. I'm so happy.
Because it was just unprofessional how he handled it. And I'm like, So I encourage anybody that does it, like, you're going to take slack. You know what I mean? Like, and I got pissed off about some of the comments. Well, he's lazy, he's fat, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, mother effer, come here and outwork me. You know what I mean? Like, I can lose weight, you'll still be a douchebag.
It's so true. Yeah. Sometimes the comments can be horrible, especially like on TikTok or something, which shows a bunch of kids. And you're like, gosh, this is horrible. So we try to just focus on the good ones. Our audience is pretty positive, but there's always some that slip through the cracks. So.
I had some 12-year-old talking shit, and I'm like, dude, you have no idea about life. There's some hair on your balls. You know what I mean? Then come talk to me about life.
Yeah.
So, eventually my skin got thick. At first it kind of hurt. Now I'm like, whatever, So.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well,
So,
Matt, hey, I'll send you over those docs. So
yeah,
I'll get
absolutely,
you
man. Appreciate the time.
the off-season stuff, the winter services sales stuff, and if I can find anything on the admin stuff, I'll at least send you over Efren's video so you can check that one out. It's a really good watch.
Yeah, check that out. Yeah.
But yeah, I wish the best for you. Hopefully we'll get a chance here, maybe like in a year and a half to get back into your area and actually do another like coaching session, breakthrough sort of situation. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be fun.
yeah.
Keep
Cool,
Mike
man.
in line.
Mm-hmm. Will do.